Running a metropolis SimCity style is a lot of work. That's why we have village building games. Forget about zoning, pollution, traffic, and major disasters. Just worry about constructing one useful building at a time. And maybe trying to find a lost Maggie Simpson once in a while. Charterstone takes the quaintness of a village building game and puts it into a bigger legacy-style campaign. That means during and after each session, you will permanently alter gameplay by changing the cards, adding stickers to the board, or opening secret boxes to unlock new components. Here's a quick spoiler-free look at how Charterstone works. In the beginning of Charterstone, this is going to be a complete blank slate, except for a few starter buildings in each individual charter over here. So on your turn, you're going to take a meeple, one of your workers, and place it onto a building. So whatever you see on the left is what you're going to pay. So in this case, a resource of some sort. And on the right will be what you receive. In this case, a gold. The point is basically to build more buildings. In the beginning of each session, you're going to receive a certain number of cards, some of which may even be stickers. So if you have enough resources to build this building, you can peel that sticker off and permanently affix it onto a lot in your charter. These buildings will give you new ways to gain more resources, gain gold, new workers, or even gain some reputation in this fair land. Once somebody wins a session, everyone records their progress onto one of these boxes, and as you level up, you're going to gain bonuses that will carry over from game to game. As you play through each session, you're going to unlock new cards, components, and story, all of which will gradually change Charterstone as you play through this 12-game campaign. But did the Going Analog reviewers think it was worth the time? Let's see what they think. But one small warning, we do reveal some very slight, minor details that some may consider a little spoilery, but we promise that it will not ruin the game for you.
All right, guys, we just spent a lot of time over the last 2-3 months or so playing this game. The most time we've ever invested in a Going Analog review to play Charterstone. This is a legacy game, right? So this is where there's permanent changes that happen to the game, boxes that we unlock, things that are going to be surprises as you play. So we're going to talk a little bit about those things without actually revealing anything of importance. Okay, so let's introduce you guys first. Christina, you're my co-host on the show, and also my lover, my wife. Okay, so welcome back to the show. And then you're gonna help. You were helping us review this game, and you as well, Joe. You spent a lot of time with us playing these games.
I did.
Welcome back to the show as well. You are one of my co-workers at this unnamed video game company.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we don't like to talk about where we work. We're not supposed to talk about where we work, but you and I work together there, and we sneak in a few games here and there at work. Just as a reminder, don't look at the camera so much.
I'm making sure that I don't pivot my head and did that direction.
Yeah, the last time you were here, you kind of kept sneaking off little glances.
That's my Jim Halpert.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Okay, so let's talk about Charterstone. All right. Christina gave us an introduction about what the game's about, but what did you guys like? Christina, why don't you start us off?
I liked how they spaced out a lot of the discovery throughout this game. So I love opening up exciting subscription boxes and gift boxes and stuff. And I think the full game involved a lot of discovery of new turn levels, new interesting accessories to your game, some exciting discoveries, and a story does develop slowly through time, but you could strategize the whole time too. So I'm very into games where I know at least a few steps ahead, not too far ahead, and that scratched my itch.
Cool. How about you, Joe?
To that point, it was almost like the perfect onboarding process. I've played tons of games before where the rule book is incredibly massive, and it's very daunting for your first game where you're spending upwards of an hour trying to figure out the rule, and everyone's kind of stumbling the first time through. And by virtue of this being in chapters, it's almost like they're doling out the rule book little bits at a time. So you never feel completely overwhelmed with everything. Just when you're starting to get kind of comfortable, like, cool, I understand this, they introduce new concepts, new character, new gameplay components, and it doles out in a way that everything always feels fresh. It really gets you invested in, I want to know what's next. I want to see what the next kind of big gameplay element to add to it. And again, from a onboarding process, it really takes a lot of the drudgery of having to slog through a rule book before you even start playing the game.
Yeah, totally. In the beginning, when you first open this up, I'm going to show it to the camera because I don't think you can read anything from this distance. This was mostly blank in the beginning when we first started, right? Just a few of these things are filled out. And then as the game progresses and opens, so like open up this card and open up this box, get to card number 300, whatever. And then they're going to have stickers that you actually add. So all of these boxes are additional instructions that are added to the game. And then in the back of the book, are additional story moments that are added to the game. And it's like, I thought the same thing. Like the best thing about this game is there are other legacy games, style games, but most of them I think are more hardcore than this one. This one is like a great way to introduce people to this style of game, like worker placement of like, I'm gonna put a guy out there and activate what's happening in that spot. But this is a great game to show someone who's kind of new to that genre, right? Because, oh, you only have to learn a little bit and then the game will teach you more and then more, and then it just keeps you surprised at all times. So yeah, totally good. What else did you think?
I thought it was really funny when we were setting up for the first time. We were like, I'm not really sure how this works out, but you literally open up the box and you reveal card after card, and it unwinds right in front of you. So that was really exciting.
That's why like this right here. This is a reset board, so we don't spoil anything for anybody. But yeah, this is at its raw state. On the back of that is our finished game, which is like full of stickers and stuff that we've written on and things that we added to this, and it's really different from how it looks here.
You name your village, you name all the characters in the game, so you end up kind of creating these fun little moments where, you know, you name a character Lonk, for example. He looks like an offshoot Link, and it becomes this kind of funny. It becomes this kind of funny joke throughout the game, and you create these little moments and these little stories because of the personalization aspect that are always going to be unique to the people playing that game. Which, you know, you wouldn't get obviously with kind of a non-legacy type game. So those are kind of fun moments to kind of create along the way.
Mm-hmm. And I think more than other legacy games that I played, like I played Risk Legacy and Pandemic Legacy. We played Pandemic Legacy seasons 1 and 2. A lot of the surprises come at the end of the chapter. Like if you played one session and then it's like, now let's open up this A, B, and C to see what else is revealed. That happens, but you're also opening stuff as you play. Like surprises not only per session, but within the session, there's multiple surprises. You might get these cards like, oh, I'm gonna build this crate, and then you have to go into this chart to look up, okay, what cards do that now reveal? And you're gonna adding those cards to your box, and then these are permanent characters you've unlocked, or different buildings that you've unlocked. And then it's like they have a cool system here too, like these boxes, your charter chest, which is, this is what you own and take with you and kind of keep throughout the entire campaign. And you start to mark your progress as you go along and what skill or what sort of advantages and bonuses that you've unlocked, and you keep those going. So mine isn't as cool as yours because I didn't win so many of the sessions, but it's an awesome little thing, and all the things that you've unlocked yourself go in here as well. The one thing I wish I could spoil that I'm not going to spoil is like there's one thing that happens pretty late in the game. I would say about 3/4 of the way through or 2/3 of the way through, where it's like, I've never seen this device or this prop used in a game ever. It's like, I don't want to build it up and hype it up too much. I'm like, this is really cool. Like the game keeps surprising us like this. So yeah, lots of cool things that we wish we could talk about, but
just play the game.
Yeah, you just have to play the game, and it's not that long either. It's like 12 games in a campaign, about an hour per session.
Yeah, the game moves at a relatively brisk speed. So nothing ever felt like the games were too long. If anything, they almost felt like they were a little too short at times. But they were a good length to get in a couple in every night.
What do you guys think of the artwork?
Super adorbs.
Yeah.
It's just really, really cute. These are our starting characters, so it's not, spoiling much, but, it's sort of cartoony and cute. There's personality to it, I think, and it's just very colorful. So I was always excited to play it just because of how it looked, because I'm superficial. So.
Yeah, I see you named her Tata because we were watching Narcos on Netflix when we were starting to play this. I named mine Old Whitey, which you said was very racist of me.
I didn't say that.
We're all thinking it.
Yeah, everyone's thinking it. So you get to customize the game and just have a lot of fun with it. And it has that same like city building or village building charm that a lot of games have, like this kind of 3/4 perspective of everything with these cute, adorable buildings. I think the art's also super approachable. All right, now let's talk about what we didn't like about the game.
The games, that each session maybe is a little bit spoilery, but there's an objective that it's different from game to game.
Right.
And that part is the part that feels different. So I'm gonna make up some objectives here. It might be like, be the person who rolls the dice the most time, be the person who places their workers the most time. And that's a cool way to kind of change the way that you play. I don't think working those strategies in necessarily meant that you won the game. And I think there were some tried and true strategies that we were all employing that kind of didn't change from game to game.
I did find myself changing strategies a lot, maybe just because I like trying new things a lot. For me, what dictated my strategy was more character powers and then sometimes the main objective. There were definitely some things I did the same way, and for me, the negative was near the second half or the latter third of all of our campaigns, we had discovered a lot of the boxes, so I felt like that excitement wasn't quite there in the same way, so I was changing my play style to just try to do interesting things instead.
Mm-hmm. And probably maybe like viewers should give more weight to what you're saying, because like I got 2 victories through the campaign. How many did you get, Joe?
4.
Twice as many as me, but 6 for Christina, so maybe you knew what you were doing more than us. Yeah, I think if anything, I would just kind of, that would be my complaint, was just like it didn't encourage me to kind of break out and go visit other areas and kind of explore this world. Like I said, like viewers can't see this, but this board is packed full of different buildings by the end. Like each one of these sections has like 6 different buildings related, right? And then those get updated and you add more pieces on top of that to add additional buildings even after all the stickers are filled. So it's pretty cool, but I didn't really explore a lot of it. Just a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I kind of stuck to my own village.
One thing that I think we should have tried out at some point is we didn't try it with the AI mode, and you can have the other players who aren't in the game, since we had just 3 players here, sort of actually do stuff during the game to make things maybe a little bit harder or at least more interesting. I have a coworker who played this game and said he found that really interesting when they added that in.
Maybe my biggest gripe with the game is kind of interconnected, is that I didn't know if it was trying to be a story-based game or like a competitive type game. And the story, while it was interesting and it had a couple twists and turns, ultimately didn't feel like it really meant anything. Unlike, say, like a Pandemic, Legacy, or even like a Time Stories, where the stories of those games are integral. I think it was trying to be both, but it didn't really succeed in either of them.
Yeah, well said. I totally agree.
Yeah, I feel like the legacy model works so much better when you're cooperative, everybody's on the same team, and you're unlocking things together. The story did feel sort of like an afterthought. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting, and maybe everything's colored because I won.
How many times are you going to remind everyone of this?
You brought it up first. But there were some twists and turns because Joe was leading for, I'd say, a huge portion of the game, and I thought that he was going to run away with that. So
yeah, there were definitely moments I loved certain parts of the story, like, wow, this is really cool, I want to see where this goes, but they came really far at the end, and almost when it didn't matter anymore, and then the game was over. So yeah, I didn't enjoy it for the story so much, but more the surprises and the unlocking and all that stuff. The last thing I'll say is like what I didn't like about this, the stickers. All the stickers are really strong in this game. Like I'm super anal retentive, so when I'm trying to line up on the rule book just perfectly or on the board, if it's just a little off, it's gonna stay a little off. You're not gonna be able to adjust that and readjust that. So that was like every time like you'd hear me put on a sticker in the rule book, I'm like, damn it, I messed up again. But okay, so let's get to our final thoughts. As you guys know, we're each going to get a D20 die. We're going to roll them, see how many words we get to make our final conclusions about this game. So let's do that. All right. Roll 11. Joe's going to wait for us
10.
to roll before he ends.
7.
All right. So you get 7, 10, and 11 words to give our final thoughts. All right, we're back with the most boring set of rolls we've had on the show so far. 7 words, 10 words, 11 words. So I go first because I have the highest amount. Easy to learn, colorful, vibrant, full of surprises, but slightly repetitive. All right, Christina, what are your final 10 words?
Very adorable village building with a sprinkling of storytelling.
Jill, 7 words for you.
The Forever King is feeling kinda meh.
Okay, cool. All right, so now we're going to give our final votes on the game. Now, I think you just gave us a preview of how you're going to vote here. If you love the game, give it 2 thumbs up. If you like the game, give it 1 thumb up. And then if you're okay or meh on the game, give a sideways thumb. If you dislike the game, thumbs down. Okay? All right, on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. I knew it. You told us what you're going to vote. All right, so we got 2 thumbs up, 2 likes, and then 1 okay meh on the game. All right, so thank you guys for all the time and all the hours we poured into this thing. I'm glad we finally got to finish the campaign. So now let's kick it over to Seanbaby.
Okay, this is called Furby Adventure Game. Let me try to explain the game in its entirety. You draw a card and then you go to that space. That is, you're done. Now add a bunch of little dead eyes looking at you and like sort of a second language element, because when you do draw the card, you're supposed to read it, and it says in the manual you can read it in English or in Furbish or both. So for example, you might draw a card and it would say Melaka. And I mean, I don't have to explain to you what that means, but what that means is hug me. And that's a thing that you're just supposed to do in the middle of this game. Which, look at this is for 6 players. Can you imagine trying to get anyone whose attention span is bad enough that they could enjoy this to sit through this with 6 other people? It's impossible. It's a ludicrous thing to even think about. And this says fucking, hey, I don't see you. Like, it's the fucking chitterings of a madman written down on a card for children. I'm not even, this is exactly how it came in the thing. I didn't set these up to say like, oh, let's stack some ridiculous ones. This one just says Kamimi Nulu, which of course means I'm very happy. It's just a nice thing to hear when you're playing Furby Adventureland. I like this, is what this card says, which it couldn't possibly be honest under any circumstances. You know, I was reading about this thing that happened where a bunch of the lunatics who collect this type of thing all called into the same radio show, and all the Furbies were gonna like talk to each other in unison. This might be an urban legend. Someone please Google this. But they started to do it, like, hi, I'm a Furby. And then there are Furbies like, oh, I heard that. I'm gonna say something too. Like, for example, Ame Coco, pet me again. So this started to happen where they're all talking to each other over the radio, and they all just died. Like, they all just malfunctioned and died. No one knows why. It might not have ever happened. It seems like the kind of thing you'd read about in the 90s that was, of course, not true. You tickle me. Unye nitie ka. Normally this would probably mean like you made me laugh, but in this case, it's probably a command. I don't like this game. I don't trust this game. And that's, seriously, that's the whole fucking game, Furby Adventure Game. We're done. The end.